What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we are talking about Loki himself. At least that's your deity anyway. We're talking about the Trickery domain Cleric, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So make sure that you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, we finally did it. We reached 1,000 subscribers this past weekend, and I am so thankful for all of you for your continued support throughout all of this, all of the new people, all of the people who have been here from the beginning. I really appreciate all of you. So as a thank you for that, we are going to be doing a little bit of a special here in a couple of weeks. I'm kind of planning it right now, but I need your help in order to do so. I put up a poll a few days ago and I still haven't gotten any responses yet, but you still have a chance, or you can respond in the comment section of this video as well. Basically, we're going to do a Ask Me Anything Q&A, but I will also be joined by my D&D group. The people that I am running Curse of Strahd for right now will be with me, and we're going to do kind of a podcast type of thing. And so basically we will have questions for them, and I'll come up with some things, and also I want to use some questions that maybe you have. They could be D&D related. They don't necessarily have to be. It could be just something about me or something about my group. We'll go through all of our characters and that sort of thing as well. So it's going to be a really good time. It's going to be probably a much longer video, and I think it'll be a really cool 1,000 subscriber special. And of course, if there's anything you all want to suggest in the future for the channel, just let me know. And of course, once you have joined and helped us start toward the next 1,000, of course, make sure that you are click the bell so that you are notified whenever new videos are uploaded, and share the video with your friends. So the Trickery domain Cleric, made very famous by Jester Lavore in campaign 2 of Critical Role, is a really fun way to take a lot of the seriousness out of the cleric. You know, a lot of times it's very stressful being the party healer, being the one that is relied upon for all those things. And so you take all the seriousness out of it, and your job is to just play pranks on the world. And it's fantastic. I think it's hilarious aesthetically, just thematically, it's wonderful. But how good is it mechanically? Let's find out today. As always, we start off with the expanded spell list, and as you can see here, this is a pretty fantastic list. Now, most of these spells are actually not on the cleric list. Actually, only one of them, and that's Dispel Magic, which I'm still not mad because Dispel Magic is fantastic. The other 9 are not on the cleric spell list. So I really don't have a problem with like any of these, right? Disguise Self is incredibly handy. Mirror Image is a wonderful defensive spell. Pass Without Trace, of course, we all know how good that one is, adding +10 to stealth bonuses. Blink, I guess, is kind of questionable, but it's still not terrible by any means. Dimension Door, that's just free teleportation for a really long range. Polymorph, one of the best spells. Dominate Person, and then Modify Memory is situational, but can be really nice. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 spell list. We are starting off really strong. At level 1, we only get one feature, but it's actually not that bad to get this kind of a feature at level 1. It's called Blessing of the Trickster. What this does is it actually allows you to give advantage on a stealth check for 1 hour, as long as you touch a willing creature other than yourself, which is pretty good, honestly. Like, you give them advantage on stealth. This really helps, especially if you have people with heavy armor who have disadvantage. This allows them to have a straight roll instead. So that's great. And you know, if you're running across a road, you just go one at a time. Blessing of the Trickster, run across. Blessing of the Trickster, run across. There's no limit to how many times you can use this feature. It just recharges on its own, and it lasts for an hour, which is plenty of time, honestly, to give to your rogue that may not have Boots of Elvenkind yet, and they have an hour's worth of advantage on stealth. That's fantastic, right? This is an 8 out of 10 feature. This is endlessly useful. I mean, stealth is a skill that you're going to be using a lot, at least usually you use a lot, and so having advantage on it pretty reliably is really amazing. At level 2, we get Channel Divinity, and of course we get a unique option to this subclass, and it is called Invoke Duplicity. Now what this does is it allows you to create a copy of yourself as long as it is within 30 feet of you. It can last for 1 minute, but does require concentration, which is a little iffy. And as long as it remains within 120 feet of you, you can control it as your bonus action, and as it moves around, it can move up to 30 feet per turn. And then also, you can cast spells through its space, which is really interesting. Usually I don't see that feature coming up a ton, but it is a really, really safe way to cast things like Contagion and your touch spells, right? It's a lot more effective that way to get your duplicate up there, because your duplicate is invulnerable. It can't take damage, it can't be destroyed, so you just let your enemies go for it after it casts the spell, and you stay back, and so that's pretty fantastic as long as you can see everything. So that's really good as well. And also you have advantage on attack rolls against creatures as long as your illusion is within 5 feet of you. That's also really nice. That's free advantage on all of your attack rolls as long as you keep your duplicate there with you. I think that's pretty nice, honestly. There's a lot going on here, and it's all really good. This is a 9 out of 10 feature. I don't think it's quite 10 out of 10. I think that it could go a little farther, but 9 out of 10 I still think is very strong. At level 6, we get Cloak of Shadows, which is actually another Channel Divinity option. Now, I've talked in the past about the others that get a fourth option for Channel Divinity, and I usually think that it just kind of gums up the system, and usually you're not going to end up using that fourth option unless it's really compelling, and that's kind of what we have here. So Cloak of Shadows allows you to become invisible until the end of your next turn, and you become visible if you attack or cast a spell. So you're basically getting a free casting of the invisibility spell. Problem is, one, you don't get this until level 6. And, you know, if you're gonna be able to stay invisible, you would want to be able to cast a spell or make an attack. In fairness, you know, you can make an attack while you're invisible and get everything, but it's still not great. I don't think that turning invisible until the end of your next turn is worth a use of your Channel Divinity, especially when you have the duplicate that can just be up there anyway. Situationally, it could be useful, but I mean, you get so few uses of it per short rest that I don't think that it's going to be useful, at least not more than Invoke Duplicity. Overall, I got to give this a 5 out of 10. It's really not that great of a use of your Channel Divinity, in my opinion. At level 8, we get Divine Strike, and of course this is similar to a lot of the other clerics. You either get Divine Strike or you get your spellcasting bonus, Potent Spellcasting, which allows you to add your Wisdom modifier to cantrips. This allows you to add 1d8 damage to your weapon attacks, and then 2d8 once you reach level 14. Normally I give this an 8 out of 10 because it's free damage. However, I've got to take this down to a 6, honestly, because it's poison damage. Poison damage is a really bad damage type in general. There are a lot of things that resist it or are immune to it, and I don't like it as a damage type. And honestly, this is not really a subclass that really wants to focus on weapons. There's really not a huge focus on those. I would rather be casting spells like Inflict Wounds if I'm going to be up in somebody's face, not smacking them with whatever. So I just don't think it's all that useful on this subclass in general. At level 17, we get Improved Duplicity, and this allows you to create 4 duplicates whenever you use your Channel Divinity back from level 2, which is pretty awesome, and you can move all 4 of them with your bonus action. That's pretty cool, right? You can have these all over the battlefield, and what I would do is keep one with me so that I have advantage on my attack rolls. And so it just says attack rolls. It doesn't necessarily say a weapon attack, right? So you could cast a something with an attack roll, a spell with an attack roll, and it works that way too because of how distracting it is, which is pretty cool. And so if you've got 3 others that are running around as ways of targeting creatures that may be a little farther than you want to go or anything like that, and you have advantage from where you are, it's nice. It's a distraction. This is a 10 out of 10 to me. It's a great improvement on the initial Invoke Duplicity feature, and it's just really versatile in what you can do with 4 of these things running around. So where do we land on the Trickery Domain Cleric? This is an interesting one. As far as flavor goes, I absolutely love this Cleric. I think it's a lot of fun to play. I think it has a lot going for it as far as what kind of a story you can tell. Maybe you're the goofball that, you know, doesn't want to be taken seriously, but something happens and you have to be taken seriously, and that's a struggle. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about this subclass and making it flavorful and fun. Mechanically, it's not
terrible, but it's also not anywhere near the best either. So it's kind of in the middle. I've got to give this a 7 out of 10 overall, as far as just talking mechanically. As far as flavor, it's toward the top, but I do think that it does lack mechanically, especially, you know, I feel like it's kind of a waste of that 6th level feature, to be honest. It's just not that great to become invisible, and then you lose it if you make an attack. It's not great. You know, I don't think that it's better than burning a spell slot. I think it's worse actually using Channel Divinity on that, because it is such a precious resource. And then Divine Strike, it deals poison damage. We don't really want to use weapons on this. And when we do, you know, if they resist poison or, you know, are immune to poison, then who cares? You know, it's as if we don't have a feature at all. So 7 out of 10, I think, is more than fair to give this subclass. I don't think that I can really go any higher, just because that right in the middle, it's just kind of empty. And so, you know, as a multi-classing option, I think it's really cool. You know, to have a cleric and rogue multi-class would be really cool. Take mostly rogue for this. But if you want to go the full way, you totally can, and we are going to be making a build of this later this week. So make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss that video. Of course, make sure that you have the bell turned on so that you don't miss when it goes live. And of course, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.